Hello, folks. I'm Bob Kitchen, one of the owners here at Maple Hill Golf, and you're listening to the official podcast of Maple Hill, The Hill Unscripted. Every 2 weeks, I'll bring you the real talk from inside the golf world, insights, stories, and conversations that matter to you as a golfer and a valued part of the Maple Hill family. Hey, Bob Kitchen here once again with The Hill Unscripted, the podcast, post-Ryder Cup. I got to go to the Ryder Cup. I'd like to thank UPS for sending me to the Ryder Cup, and it was absolutely a phenomenal experience. So I got to go Wednesday and Thursday. I had to be home for my kids' homecoming game and dance over the weekend, so I couldn't be there for any of the real golf, but I was there for the leading up to the actual event. We got to spend Wednesday most of the day there, and then Thursday the entire day there. And the city that they built on Bethpage property was so impressive. A lot of people were asking about the golf, and did you hear anybody swearing at Rory or being rude to Rory or any of that kind of stuff? And I'll get into that in a little bit. But the overall complex, 5 golf courses, they're all the courses are all named after the rings on the Olympics. So they got the yellow, blue, red, green, and black. We got to see 3 of the 5 courses from where we were walking and where the merchandise tent is at, and we got to see 2 of the driving ranges. And what a complex out on Long Island, which is a huge island. But what a complex, just a massive piece of property, absolutely beautiful. One of the courses kind of looks like a longer Maple Hill. One of the courses I saw looked kind of like a Blythefield if you're from town, if you're from Grand Rapids area. And then the black course is just so wickedly long. It's only one of the 5 that you have to walk. There's no carts allowed on Bethpage Black, but red, green, blue, and yellow you can. The courses vary in difficulty and aesthetics quite drastically, to be perfectly honest. One of them is the one that's kind of like a Maple Hill. It's kind of like, it looks like a park. Like it's got trees and stuff, but it's open grass, open field, spray it anywhere, find your ball, chop it again. Just try not to kill anybody a hole or 2 over. Then the black course is cut through the woods, bunkers everywhere. I mean, it looks like, I don't know, like a absolute championship golf course. You ever played Stream Song, or if you've ever played Whistling Straits or anything like that, it's right on line with, they played the Ryder Cup there, obviously, so it's as good as it gets. So absolutely premium, beautiful place. I would have probably shot from those tees. I probably would have shot about 110, and I'm a 10 handicap. The tees they played, and standing on number 1, and you look at where they're bombing over those trees on the right, it's so far. It is so far. That first hole is a hard par 4. It's like 440 dogleg right. So take your average guy like me that's hitting at 230, 240. You're going to have 200, 210 in, from that back tee. And you're sure as hell not hitting it over the trees on the right. You're just trying to hit it out to the left and then trying to get it on the green in 2. These guys are bombing it so far, and then they're just flipping a wedge in there to 6-10 feet, and some of them are making it, some of them weren't. But they were tearing apart number 1. Then you take a monster walk over to number 2 and up number 2, and number 15 is right along the road. It's almost directly behind number 1. It's probably one of the hardest par 4s I've ever seen in my entire life. I think it was 477. It starts off flat and goes up to this huge tabletop green on the left, bunkers up the left, road on the right, bunkers in front of the green, and it's 477. So even a long hitter, if you can hit it 270, you still got 207 in. These guys tore that apart too. They didn't birdie 15 too much, but man, oh man. And then number 17 is right next to number 1. So 1 green, 17 tee, and 15 tee, and 16 green are all right together right there on that side of the road. 17 is an uphill par 3. Can't see anything off the tee box. It's totally blind. You can see a bunker and a flag stick, and the green's very narrow from front to back, but it's very wide from left to right. Just watching these guys just throw it over this sand trap to perfect. Like, when these guys are hitting, man, it's hard to tell them apart. Once in a great while, somebody will miss-hit one and not quite hit it exactly how they should. But other than that, these guys are so good. You watch them on the range, and they had a TrackMan on the range, and they had a big monitor on the range that showed every single shot everybody's hitting. So when Rory sets up, it says Rory, and then it shows his TrackMan ball flights on this monitor, and you can look at their ball speed and their spin rates and their launch angle and all that stuff. And every single spot had its own TrackMan, so they're mapping everything out on the monitors on the range, which I thought was super cool. Like, that's the world we live in now. It's a technology-driven world. It was over by the merchandise tent. The merchandise tent looked like our 2 or 3 of our holes of our golf course here at Maple Hill. It was, I think, it was 550 by 180 feet. I mean, it was gigantic. It was like its own city. It had 4 different sections. Nothing in there was cheap. I'm wearing one of the shirts I bought right now. The merchandise was just awesome. It was like a feeding frenzy. The line to check out was gigantically long, but they had like 80 cashiers, and it was running like a top. Like they really, really knew what they were doing. It's first class. We got into the international sponsors tent. That was first class. Like everything about it was so good that we got busing to and from the hotel we stayed at. So we got to stand on the other side of this putting green and got to see all the guys coming off the range, go to the putting green. For the putting green, they go to the first tee up over this bridge. And the love shown for the Americans and the Europeans was pretty great. Now this is pre-tournament, and a lot of kids screaming and looking for autographs, and the guys were overwhelmingly generous with that, in my opinion. They went on to be really, really cool to the kids and showed love, and I think people were showing love in both directions. I think the Europeans, of course, they're making the long trip over from whatever country they're from. So they were a little bit more hype, a little bit louder, a little bit more crazy, I guess you'd call it. I did hear one guy yell something at Rory that was inappropriate, and the crowd literally booed the guy. It was mildly inappropriate compared to what I think was said on the golf course, but all in all, ended up being a great tournament. At the end, like, we're just not that good of a team, if that makes any sense. Like, we do really well in singles, and in the pairings, we just don't quite have it, and I'm not exactly sure why. I hope we can figure that out. Maybe get the guys a little bit more pairings practice before, or maybe we need to teach that a little bit more in younger golf. I'm not really sure what the disconnect is there, because I don't think they're a lot better players than what we are. I think they had some better players than we do. And, of course, it's all these countries, right? It's the superstar from all these different countries versus just our one country. And I know our country is way bigger. I'm well aware of that. But, yeah, just a great battle. And the speech that Luke Donald gave, if you got a minute, if you can find it, the opening ceremony speech that Luke Donald gave was one of the most professional and eloquent speeches I've ever heard in my entire life. It was absolutely brilliant. Keegan's speech was good. Luke's speech, I'd give it an A++. It was absolutely moving and touching and brilliant. And you can tell he's a little bit older. You can tell he's a little bit more seasoned. Keegan's a little younger and fiery. And Keegan, I think he did a good job. People are going to rip apart some of the pairings, and I don't like how he put this guy with that guy. And okay, then you do better. You know what I mean? Like, you earn your way to be a Ryder Cup captain. Like, it's like the guy on his couch with the chips all over his shirt saying, "Look at these slobs. These guys don't know how to play golf." Like, yeah, sure they don't. So anyhow, Ryder Cup all in all was fantastic. I'm proud of how the U.S. clawed back and made it a battle. And Lowry was tough, and I think that some of what we did to piss off Lowry came back to bite us. I think he gets fired up by getting angry with the crowd and getting into a little bit, and people calling him chubby or whatever words they were using to describe his weight. He kind of used that as fire. And sometimes when you are trying to accomplish one thing, you accomplish quite the opposite. I've definitely experienced that in my own personal life. And in business, sometimes you're trying to make this happen, and then quite the opposite happens. And sometimes when you're trying to take somebody down, it does nothing but build them up. So I hope we learned something from that. I hope we didn't set a new standard for how low our country can go. I hope we mind our P's and Q's next time it's over here, which will be in Minnesota, I believe, at Hazeltine in 4 years. So that'll be good. That'll be a little more Midwestern. I did meet some people from New York, and I'm glad I don't live there. The town and the city and the driving and the traffic and just the overall attitude isn't exactly my style. And no offense to anybody that lives there or is from there, but I'm proud to be a Michigander and a Midwestern guy and take it a little slower and not have to keep up with the rat race that is New York. And God bless those people for doing it. If you got any other questions about the Ryder Cup or want me to talk about anything, any other part of the experience that I had, I'll say one other thing. The crowd watching around the putting green, watching every single player come through, like Harris English and Patrick Cantlay, like they barely got any love at all. The love that I saw was by far number one was Scottie Scheffler, and a pretty close second was Bryson. The crowd loves Bryson. He plays into the crowd, right? I like Bryson's passion and his kind of, I don't know if you want to call it childish or boyish, like enthusiasm. I think that's great. I think that he wears his heart on his sleeve a little bit, right or wrong. And I think he really does a good job of that. So, and then Justin Thomas, he kind of gets a little fired up, and he was getting the crowd into it, and he was also hushing the crowd when everybody was chanting Rory and kind of being jerks about it. He was kind of playing the peacekeeper there, and so I think those three guys were by far the most loved. And then beyond that, it was all pretty equal. I don't think anybody else, from what I could tell, cared too terrible much. Keegan's a local guy, but he wasn't playing. He was just captaining. So if you want to know anything else about the Ryder Cup, drop it in the comments, and I'll get to that at some point in time, maybe on the next one, or maybe the next one we have scheduled with some of our fitters and instructors. But anyhow, we'll get to it before too long, and I'll answer anything you have. So moving along, the next part of this, we asked for people to ask questions, and I can see he's got some questions. So to set this up a little bit so everybody knows, we asked people to do 20 questions with BK. So here we are doing 20 questions with BK. And I also told E and Caitlin, I said, don't tell me the questions. I saw a couple of them on Facebook, and I kind of replied to a couple here and there, but I've seen like 2 or 3, and there was a lot asked. They printed off 20 of them. E's got the microphone. He's going to read me the question. I've not seen these questions at all, so he's going to be raw and original and unsolicited. So unscripted, as the podcast is called. So go ahead with the first question. We're going to try to also make them more and more interesting or crazy as time goes on. So here we go. Go ahead with the first one.
All right. From Facebook by Al Acker. He says, do you really think for a 60-year-old they should be using a game improvement iron? My dad still believes I don't need them. I have the Mizuno JPX 925 from you guys, and my dad is still convinced I should be hitting forged irons. Just curious what your thoughts are.
All right. If you're consistently breaking 70, then yeah, you should probably switch to forged irons. But most people aren't. I'm talking about for 18 holes. Most people aren't doing that. So I think most people have heard me say it, and then they heard my son say it with the puppet on one of those, that golf is really hard. Making the sport harder has never made sense to me. It still doesn't make any sense to me. I play the JPX 925s myself, the hot model, and I absolutely love them. I'm a 10 handicap, so I mean, I'm not bad. I'm far from great, but I'm not bad. And making golf harder, making the hardest sport ever invented harder, has never really quite clicked with me. So why do the pros play them? Because they don't have a job. That's the main reason they play them. All they have to do is hit golf balls every day. If all you have to do is hit golf balls every day, you should be hitting it on like a dime-sized spot in the center of the face. But most of us don't have that luxury. Most of us have to actually go punch a clock. And then when you're 60 years old, you probably don't feel like going to the range and pounding 300-400 balls a day on the range, perfecting your game. So, and the other thing that I would back that up with is Maple Hill's a top 100 fitter in the country. We kind of know what we're doing. We've kind of gotten where we are, and the reason I'm doing this podcast is we've had some success over the years, and let us help you. We can't help everyone. I understand that. There's people that know better than us and are experts or believe they're experts. But yeah. Keep doing what you're doing is my opinion and suggestion. I know Father knows best and all those things. I understand that. But my dad, who's only worked in the golf business for the last 50 years, would back me up 100% that golf's hard, play game for game improvement, and enjoy the game as much as you possibly can. Next question.
What would it take for you to send me a nice set of those Cobra irons? I need to complete my whole set to Cobra. By Jason Golf 79.
It just takes money, Jason. So if you want a special deal or something like that, email us, teeitup@maplehillgolf.com. I'll cook up the best deal I possibly can for you. Say, hey, I'm Jason. I asked the question. Let me know. I'll hook you up. But yeah, it just takes money, but it's less money than anywhere else. So, and great question. That is funny. So next question.
How do you feel about the world handicap system? as a 15 handicap, a true 15, it bothers me when people claim to be a 3 to 8 handicap and they aren't playing the ball down by the rules. Need to be a change.
Yeah. So I can't speak a whole lot to the world handicap system. I don't know exactly how that works, but I can speak to handicaps in general. We just got done with our Maple Hill little employee tournament, and we had 32 of us up there, and I think 20-something, 26 or 28 of them work for Maple Hill, and the handicaps are bogus. I can tell you that for a fact. So the way that they're bogus is when people hit it out of bounds, they don't oftentimes re-tee. The amount of people that actually hold the putt, whether it's a foot or 2 feet or inside the leather or, oh, that's good. Or your buddy makes a 4 and you got a 5-footer for 4. And you go, I'll just pick it up. He's already in with 4. All that's garbage because you're not always going to make those 5-footers or 3-footers or even 2-footers if it's got a little turn or downhill slider or something like that. I've seen people 3-putt from 2 feet if it's downhill. Or if they lip it out and it spins around. So, handicaps in general are pretty much bogus. The vanity handicap, I've never understood either. I understand people wanting to be better than what they are, and I understand people having a hard time with reality. I understand all that, and I appreciate all that, but it's never made any sense to me as to why would you want to put yourself in as a 10 when you can never, ever, ever break 82 ever. You're going to shoot 86 to 92 almost every single time if you're playing by the rules. Why would you want to put yourself in as lower than that? I really don't know. I guess the vanity reverse sandbagger is another term for it. Like what sandbaggers when you never make a putt, you don't have to. Reverse sandbaggers when you scrape every 5 to 8 footer when your partner's already in. Like if it's between two different scores, you just always say, give me the lower one. So you can go tell your buddies you shot 83 and all your friends know you shot 92 because your score is never legit and hitting 2 off the tee and I'll take a breakfast ball and all these things and out of bounds, drop where it crossed, which I'm all for drop where it crossed and out of bounds if you're just playing a fun round with your buddies as long as the rule's the same for everybody. I hate stroking distance. I think it's stupid. Why would you want to, like my dad was saying when he was on the podcast, why would you want to, you hit the house, you got to tee off and hit the house again. Just drop where it crossed and keep going. But anyhow, I couldn't agree more. And it's irritating, but go beat them and take their money because their handicap's BS and yours isn't. Yeah.
It seems that the Kitchens are missing out on an opportunity to have a fully golf-themed restaurant on campus. Will this ever happen?
Do I need more headaches? Is that what the question is? No, I don't need more headaches. Our last name, obviously. When people come in here, sometimes they see the launch kitchen. Their brain turns it into the lunch kitchen, and they think that that's what it is. But we probably could. And if we ever decided to pack in the retail aspect, we could probably turn this place into one heck of a wedding venue or a restaurant or something like that. And we've got a lot of property. We've got some plans and stuff for the back of the driving range that is a bunch of vacant land that we're not doing anything with. But no plans for an actual restaurant or anything like that. And I know our last name. I understand that. But no, this is headaches. It's a good headache if there is such a thing. It's fun to come to work. Like I told my buddies on the golf trip this past week, I said probably 19 out of 20 days I enjoy coming to work, and I love the people that I work with, and I love the job that I have, and I've been very fortunate. So I just don't want to start flipping burgers anytime soon or chopping up salads. So I'll stick with just selling this stuff.
What was the favorite club you've ever owned?
Ooh. Boy, oh boy. As you said that, what popped into my head was, I'd probably say 3 different ones. I'm going to say a driver, a fairway wood, and a putter. My first thing that popped into my head as you started saying that was I had a Razor X Black Callaway 3-wood. Razor X Black, in my opinion, it had the best profile of any fairway wood ever made. It was not super shallow. It was a little bit deeper. It was wide heel to toe. And if you set down a Razor X Black 3-wood or 5-wood, it is just so square. And I hit some of the best shots ever with that thing. My God, was that club lights out. It was point and shoot, man. I set it down. I had confidence, pulled it back, and I smacked it. And I knew where it was going. I had a 3 and a 5-wood both. The 3-wood in particular was just, I hit it probably 220 to 230. This is back when I was way younger because that club is in the 2000s somewhere, '08 maybe. I can't remember what year it was, but my God, that I love that. Putter, for about 20 years, I played a Ping Zing 2 beryllium copper putter. A lot of people see that goldish colored one and they think that's copper. That's manganese bronze. The copper's that brown colored head. It's real shiny, like high polished copper. Everybody knows what that looks like, but it gets patinaed or oxidizes quickly, and it turns into like a dark brown with the white lines, and the copper head is very heavy, and it's got a little different sound off the face. I was lights out with that putter, man. I won a lot of money with that putter. I loved it all through high school, college. And then driver, I had a Goldwyn. You might not know what that brand is. You two are both so young. But Goldwyn was one of the coolest looking golf clubs. It had a gold sole plate and had kind of a chrome like perimeter, and then had a shiny face. And that driver I could absolutely murdered that golf club. I don't know what it was. It was Goldwyn AVDP XXL 8-degree firm flex. I can still remember the damn thing. And I just smashed that thing. I also had a killer whale back in high school that I loved. Killer whale by Wilson. The Fire Stick shaft. Some people are going to put a smile on their face just hearing Fire Stick. John Daly made that famous red and black. You ever seen John Daly with that red and black golf club in his hands? That's what it was. It was about 15 years before you were born. But anyhow, it was, yeah. So, all right, I'll end with that. I could talk about clubs forever, but yeah, I'll end with that.
What 3 people are you playing with, living or deceased, to make your dream foursome, and on what course?
It had to be my dad, who's alive, my grandpa, who passed away, and then I played enough rounds with my brother. I'd say probably Tiger, just to pick his brain and talk to him, and maybe Nicholas. I guess maybe either one of those. I'd probably even throw Nicholas in there over Tiger, just because my dad and my grandpa would want to talk to Nicholas more, I think. And I think Nicholas might be the greatest mind ever in the sport of golf. I think Tiger's the best player in the history of golf. And then what course and why? Was that what the question was? Oh boy, what course? My dad would hate Augusta, so I don't want to take him to that. He hates crazy greens. Boy, that's a good question. I'd actually love to take my dad to Pebble Beach. I've already played it twice, but I don't think he's ever played it. But Pebble Beach, that's the best course I've ever played. I've been very fortunate, played a lot of cool places. And why? Just because it's so beautiful. We all love the water. My dad loved the water. My grandpa loved the water. I love the water. And I don't think Nicholas would complain. So there's my answer.
Is it better to hit further with your irons or shorter? I currently hit my 7-iron 200 to 210 yards. I feel like if I didn't hit it that far, it would give me more options from 100 yards and in.
Yeah. The further you hit it, the more problems it creates, right? So if you got, like yesterday I was playing with Zach Smith, who works here downstairs, and he hits a pitching wedge 150, and I hit a 7-iron 150. So when he's 130, 120, 110, 100, he's dialing in gap wedges and sand wedges, which is tough, right? And when I'm 120, I'm just either hitting a pitch or soft in a 9. So yeah, is it better to hit it further or shorter? I mean, probably further, because it's easier to hit a 7-iron close to the hole than it is a 6. Club's shorter. It's got more loft. But it creates a problem. So there is a fine line. That's why a pitching wedge still has to have 44 degrees or roughly 44 degrees of loft to give you the proper trajectory. Because if we wanted to just hit it far, we could take a pitching wedge, make it longer, strengthen lofts. Now every club goes super far, but then what do you do from 120 yards and in? You got to have 6 wedges in your bag, and we're borderline ridiculous on that already with the lofts of golf clubs. So my answer is, as long as you know how far it's going, who cares? If you have distance control, which is hard to do, but I after playing the last 5 days in a row with a bunch of different people, the amount of people that are really good on distance control isn't very high. If you know how far to hit a golf club or what club does what distance, you're in the minority, and good for you. These guys that are up there, my pitching wedge, well, I can hit it 130 or 160. Well, that's a huge range for a pitching wedge, dude. Like, that's tough. I feel for them. It makes it hard. I have pretty good distance control, and that's how I beat a lot of people, to be perfectly honest. So I guess as long as you know how far it's going, that's all that really matters. And if your 7-iron goes 200, you probably don't need much more than a 5-iron in your bag, so you can load up on wedges. Yeah.
You'll love this one. Let's say you have a cousin who's a huge Michigan Wolverines fan.
Oh, yeah.
Is there ever a scenario where you actually root for and want the Wolverines to win?
Yeah, there is. It'd have to be like women's water polo, or something like that. Maybe if they have an equestrian team. No, I'm sure that was Lane, I'd imagine. Yeah. So, no, it's not so much Michigan that that kind of gets under my skin. It's more Michigan fans that get under my skin. Like they, and it was a kid in high school that ruined it for me. His name was Ryan. I'm not going to say his last name, but he was such an entitled Michigan fan. He just drove me crazy. I don't want to harp on that because I'm probably going to lose some viewers over that. But anyhow, we've got a couple sales reps that went to Michigan and some Michigan fans and stuff like that, and it's all in good fun. Like as long as everybody kind of knows their place and keeps it in the right spectrum, and I think that's part of the problem we had at Ryder Cup. People kind of take it out of the spectrum. It's still a golf match, and golf is still a gentleman's game, right? Like, and we're losing a little bit of sight of that, and I think maybe our country's lost a little bit of sight of that. We're still supposed to be gentlemen and ladies. So anyhow, I guess I would cheer for Michigan if it was maybe against Ohio or something like that.
Everyone collectively.
Yeah, exactly.
Ohio,
the whole state. Yeah.
Should I drop out and go straight into sales, instantly stacking bread, or see it through and get a 2 years associate's degree?
Is this my son?
It's from Instagram by a guy named Matt Stoner.
It's not my son, unless he's got a fake one. But I can tell you that I personally, now I also kind of started working here when I was 13, 14 years old, and education is one thing that's hard to look backwards and do. I'll take this question more serious than what you probably wanted, Matt. But education's hard to look backwards and do. Like, once you're like 25 years old, it's not like, hey, now I can't wait to go to college. Like, if you don't just stay on it and keep it going, it's really hard to turn the ship around and go, now I want to go back to college. Like, that motivation falls off, and in my opinion, it falls off pretty drastically as far as that goes. I think, very fast, Caitlin says. So I think that you kind of got to stay on it, keep humping it, and if you know what you're going to do. I knew what I was going to do, right? I was good at sales, and I loved golf, and I had a family business I could walk into. But my dad said, stay in college. I'll pay you more if you graduate and all that. So I did, and I'm glad I did. But what I've learned on the job is just a trillion times more than what I learned in college. But I already knew what I was going to do. Like, a lot of people don't have that. So, I'd say I always tell my kids, stay in school. Like, if we see somebody and they screw up our food order or something like that, I say, stay in school. You see somebody, like, doing a job that is just not super exciting or fun, or it's raining and windy and they're outside doing something that just sucks. I always say, stay in school, kids. Like, and they always put a smile on their face and laugh a little bit. Like, use your brain as much as you possibly can, and it's the greatest gift we've ever been given. So, I guess that. But if you're good at sales, sell. If you're fast, run. If you're tall, play basketball. What's that? Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you were given a gift and you're really good at something, then shame on you for not using it. Go use it.
Do you keep track of how many times you've been very, very close to a hole-in-one? And what is the nicest course you've played?
No, I don't. It's probably been some, but not a super ton. I've seen some phenomenal shots. I just saw Chris McConnell hit it 10 inches from the hole on a par 4 up at St. Ives, hole number 9 around the swamp. If anybody knows that course, it was phenomenal. It was incredible. I've kept track of my friends. Like, I remember this shot or that shot. Casey had a phenomenal shot on number 2 at St. Ives. That was incredible. So no, not really. I don't really care about that. And then what's the best course I ever played? I'll give you my top 5 to keep it a little, because I already said Pebble Beach, but Stream Song's incredible. Capillo Plantation's incredible. Whistling Straits is incredible. Wolf Creek, I see it on your screen right there. Wolf Creek's incredible. Spanish Bay. We played Spyglass, Spanish, and Pebble, and Spanish is awesome. Stream Song. We played Baltusrol, old school, nice. Oakland Hills, Crystal Downs, Forest Dunes, Michigan. We're very fortunate. Yeah, a lot of great tracks. Pebble Beach, there's nothing like it. I mean, when I stood there on the first tee, I was like, yeah, this is all right. And then once you get out to number 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever holes start along the water, I was like, my God, what a vision. Whoever the hell thought of this. Wow. And when you're on number maybe 10 or 11, behind the green is this huge beach in the town of Carmel. I think that's how it's pronounced. Just, wow. Oh, and Bandon Dunes. Wow. I mean, that's not like warm and nice like what, Central California is, but just cliffs and unreal. Arcadia Bluffs for that matter. But, yeah, next question.
What is the biggest meltdown you've had on a golf course?
Biggest meltdown?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Boy, oh boy. My head immediately goes to my senior year of high school, and it was state finals day 2. And I prided myself on knowing the rules. And I hit a shot. It was a dogleg right par 5. I can't think of it. Forest Acres East, which is the worst of the 2 courses. Still nice, but Forest Acres West is awesome. And it was a dogleg right, and I hit a shot. And I knew what the rule was. And every group in state finals at that time, I think probably still does, had a rules official scorekeeper with them. And I was like, all right, I hit it here. I got to take a drop here. And the guy's like, no, you have to go back and replay it. And I said, no, I don't. It's staked, and I can drop where it crossed. And the guy's like, no, you can't. And I was like, my dad's in the group, and my dad is shaking it. He can't come over and talk to me. He knows the rule. And I was like, all right, so I played both balls, and I think I made like a 7 and an 8 or an 8 and a 9 or something like that. Like, I literally was so flustered by, like, I know what I'm doing, dude. I know exactly what the rule is. And he was wrong. I was right. That doesn't matter. But it really threw me off, and I just started hacking it around for a few holes. And I shot, like, the first day it was 6.5 hours in the snow, raining/snow, windy, awful, late October. And I shot like 83. And I was in like the top maybe 20 players in the state on day 1. And then day 2, I think I shot like 93 or 94. Weather was awful again, blew up. And my whole team played great. And we took second in the state. And it was, thank God for my teammates that picked me up, because I was on fire day 1 and blew up day 2. But our team was so good and the weather was so bad that we ended up doing state runner-up, which was probably the highlight of my golf career, as far as young golf career for sure. So, next question.
Would you rather shank every tee shot for a year or 3-putt every green for a year?
Well, I did shank every tee shot for a year, and I quit. So, I quit for an entire summer one time. I think I was in my, I might have been married, maybe in my late 20s, somewhere in there. And I got the shanks, and I couldn't stop it. So I just said, I'm not having fun anymore. I'll just quit. If I 3-putted every green, at least I'd know I'm going to 3-putt every green. So I'd say I'd take the 3-putts. Shanking the golf ball, anybody that has had the shanks before, God bless you. It's so hard. It's so ugly. You just know it's coming, and you can't stop it. And you're looking at that golf club, you know it's going to hit the hosel, and I'm firing my hands as hard as I can. And I finally went to the range and literally started swinging as hard as I possibly could to get it out of my system, and I did, and I started enjoying golf again because I stopped shanking it. But give me the 3-putts, because the shanks are just brutal.
How do you feel about turning 47?
Sore. Golfing 5 days in a row, man. Getting out of bed this morning, like creaking and cracking. I'm still very fortunate. My health is pretty good all in all. But yeah, my advice is take every day, and live it up as best you can. That doesn't mean go crazy. That means just enjoy and appreciate every day you get. That's where I'm at in my life. Like, every day I get to spend with my kids is just a special day, and I get to spend the last 3 days with all of our employees, which just work hard and they're such good people and they try so hard and they've got good heads on their shoulders and they're just good-hearted, good-spirited people. So it's good to surround yourself with all that, and if something ain't going right, remove yourself from the situation and improve it as quickly as you possibly can. But yeah, I'm loving it, man. 47 and still going strong, so I'm good.
So this next one is from a company called American Valor Hat Company. They're asking if you currently work with any local small businesses for products you sell.
Do we currently work with any? Oh, like,
I'm assuming to maybe.
do we buy them to sell them?
Yeah.
Probably some. I know the coffee place. We buy some local coffee from some guy, but people seem to like it. I don't know if there are too many local businesses that we do business with. Bender Gloves, they're in Illinois. We did some business with them. That's like a mom and pop's type of business. Is there any headwear companies or anything like that?
Stays on sunglasses.
Oh,
Or in like Detroit area, I think.
Oh yeah. Detroit Putter Company. We did a little bit of business with those guys.
Wasn't there like a game
That
too
card
we
game.
had?
Yeah.
Oh
Vanity.
yeah. I guess minimally, but we don't get approached by that too often. And if there's like our store, the square footage in our store is set, right? So if it takes up square footage in our store, it has to sell. So if it has to sell, it needs to be demand or uniqueness to it that people actually want or need that they might not know that they want or need. So like some of these hat companies have actually been pretty unique and come up with some really cool designs like Good and some of these stuff you see everywhere now. But it's tough, man. I feel for anybody out there trying to make it with that stuff. It's hard. You got to have a really good idea. You got to have marketing behind it. You got to spend a lot of money. It's a tough road, but it can be done. The American dream is still available. It's hard. It's really hard. You got to start with a fair amount of money to make it. Or
Right.
loans or whatever. You got to some backing of some sort.
From on Facebook from Scott King asks, who hits it farther, you or Andy?
I know, Scotty. I think Scott knows the answer to that too. Andy does, but he can't beat me. Andy hits it kind of everywhere. Now, props to him. His team just won this past tournament that we just had the last 3 days, and Andy played really, really well. And this is the straightest I've seen him hit the ball in a long time. So Andy hits it further. I hit it. I find more of my shots. We were a greater discrepancy as far as scores go, but I probably crept up a little, maybe 2 strokes, and he's crept down maybe 2 to 4 strokes, and so the gap is narrowing. But I asked him one time. I said to Andy, I said, "Would you give up your distance for my accuracy?" And his answer was, "For how long?" And that's when I knew he's never going to be that good because he just wants to hit it far so bad. And I was like, oh. Okay, I guess you don't understand golf because you have to hit it straight. Like, that's the whole name of the game. Matter of fact, the kid I just beat, Evan, I won't even say his last name, but he works out on the retail floor. He literally destroys the golf ball. He was 100 yards past me on most tee shots, and I beat him 4-3. Now, he was giving me strokes, but our handicaps are legit. We both turned in our own handicaps, and he can't putt as well as I can. His distance control isn't that great. He hits it so far. Again, we're back to that question. So my distance control is better. I'm a better putter than him, and I beat him. And he hits it a mile, 100 yards further than I do. Yeah, I hit it like 220, 230. He was in at 320, 330.
Mm-hmm.
Just big, tall, strong kid. Just destroys the ball.
To add on to that, though, what do you think Andy's handicap actually is?
What's his real handicap?
Yeah. Give or take.
15.
Oh, okay.
That's his. I think he's probably a 16 or somewhere in there, but I think he's probably coming down a little bit. Probably 15. He can shoot like probably low 80s, and then he can shoot 94. But probably on any given day he's going to shoot mid to upper 80s.
Okay.
I guess.
All right. Next one. What is the first golf shot you remember hitting that made you fall in love with golf?
Oh God. Oh my Lord. My dad took me to Gracewell. Gracewell. The Swill. Or my dad called it the Swamp. Dubs played there 100,000 times, and I think he calls it the Swill or something like that, and his brother worked there for a long time. And I was probably in middle school, maybe high school, and I My dad gave me this set of Wilson Dynapowers, and these are old, awful. Now they're back, right? Dynapower is the new name of the golf club, but I was probably 13, 14 years old. So this would have been like in the late 80s, maybe 90, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I had like a 150-yard shot, and I wanted this set of iron so bad, and I wanted to hit a 3-iron so bad. I don't know why I want to hit a 3-iron so bad. I can still remember it. But I had to hit a little baby cut, and I wasn't very good. I didn't even pick up golf until I was in like 6th or 7th grade. And I just got into it, and it bug bit me, and I just fell in love with it and started playing a ton. And I hit this little tiny fade in there from like 150 yards with a 3-iron, but I was a little kid, right? And it stuck right on the green. I had like a 7 or 8 footer. My dad was so happy. Like, he looked at me. He was like, "That was a great shot." I was like, "Thanks, Dad." And he's like, "Man, that was awesome. What'd you hit?" I said, "I hit that 3-iron." And I pured it, and the divot was perfect. And the ball, and I was like, "Wow, this is what a perfect shot feels like." And then you kind of fell in love with it. And I told my dad, "I want to stop hitting a cut. I want to start hitting a draw." And he said, "You're going to be terrible for 1 year. But if you stick with it, you're going to be really good. You're going to hit the ball much harder." And I said, "All right, well, then teach me." So he was dead on right. I was god-awful for 1 entire year, and the next year I came back and I could hit a little draw, and I started just smashing the golf ball, and then I got pretty long. When I was in my late teens and in my early 20s, I could rip the golf ball. So now I'm 47. I don't hit it far anymore. But, yeah, true story.
Next one. Why don't more people play yellow golf balls?
Oh, great question. The conservative stodginess, traditionalist is so dyed in the wool in this sport. It's so hard to get them to change. It really is. Like, tennis balls started off white, and then they went to yellow, and everybody's like, "Oh, I can see it better." Now every tennis ball made is yellow, I believe. Pickleballs are yellow. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's kind of some sort of prestige. I play a yellow ball. I could care less. I just like it because I know which one's mine. When there's 4 balls sitting on the fairway, that one's mine. I don't have to go look at it and check, "Oh, is it a TaylorMade or Callaway?" I don't know. I think that he plays a yellow ball. Who cares? But that stigma, I think, will be there for a little while yet. We're selling more and more weird colored golf balls every year, no doubt about that. And the percentage of white golf balls we sell is coming down ever so slightly. But my guess is 10 years from now, if we are still doing this podcast, white Pro V1 will be the best-selling golf ball. That's my guess. Still. Yeah, exactly. 30
Some of those ones that I've seen that we sell through here, they're like maroon matte finished colors. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that I feel like I'm blind to it half the time. Like a yellow ball you can see decently well in the summer. Yeah. Sometimes the leaves hit and it's hard, it blends in a little more with that color.
Yes.
But some of those ones it just vanishes when it goes out. It doesn't reflect.
Colored ones, purple.
Yeah.
Some of the darker red ones, blue. But yeah, I hit a couple that were, we played St. Ives and Tullymore, and there's leaves and trees everywhere, and a couple of them that I hit underneath the trees or near the trees, it is harder to see that yellow ball than just a bright white. No leaves are white, right? Leaves are yellow, brown, green, whatever, but no leaves are white. So the white ball sticks out a little better and on the grass, the contrast is good with a white and a green.
Reflects a lot.
Yeah, it's a little easier to see. But in the air, I can tell you the yellow golf ball for me is just considerably easier to see.
Mm-hmm. What is your favorite course in Michigan, and why does it make it so special?
I'll give you my top 2 because it's hard to pick. If you want waterside, it's Bay Harbor. Everybody in the world's going to say, Bay Harbor, how come it can't be Arcadia Bluffs? Arcadia Bluffs is absolutely beautiful, and the greens are so crazy, it's just not nearly as enjoyable. Bay Harbor has 27 holes. The Lynx 9 out on the water, I don't think can be beat. It is so pretty. It's so nice. It's so playable. The greens are puttable. It's unique. It doesn't just have 1 or 2 holes in the water. It's got a lot of them on the water, down and back, and it's so beautiful. And the views are spectacular. I don't just mean in the water. I mean like when you can see the Inlet Bay Harbor out in the distance and Crooked Tree up on the hill. Just so pretty. And then the quarry's a little quirky, but it's awesome. It's unique. It's there's some wildness to it. There's some different looks to it. And then the preserve is the third 9 there, and it's kind of in the trees, kind of old school traditional, but it's still beautiful. If it wasn't for the other two, it'd get a lot more praise, but the other two are so good. And then for a normal traditional style golf course, I don't think Forest Dunes can be beat. And I played Crystal Downs, I played Oakland Hills, nothing against those two. They're both probably the 2 top ranked courses in the state because that's done by old stodgy guys, in my opinion. But Forest Dunes, those greens are glass. It's the definition of perfection. The cutout in the woods, the layout of the golf course, long holes, short holes, dog legs, straight holes, par 3s, par 5s, the sand, the trees, the design of that golf course, I think is absolutely an A++. It's out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. I haven't even played the Loop yet. I'm dying to go play that at some point in time, and then they're building that Skyfall, I think is the name of the third course. And once they build that too, I can't wait to go there and see what that's all about. So good stuff though, man. We're very fortunate. And that's nothing to take away from Treetops and Garland and all these other places that are so beautiful. And there's just a lot of great golf in Michigan, man. We're very, very fortunate. I just played Stonegate and Muskegon Country Club. They're both phenomenal golf courses. Stonegate's a hidden gem. And Muskegon Country Club's an absolute Taj Mahal. It's beautiful. It's awesome.
Would you rather always talk like a golf announcer and whisper, or always yell like a football coach?
Oh, give me quiet, especially after 3 days with all these loudmouths in the cabin up at Tullymore and St. Ives and going, my God. That's how I can tell I'm 47 is because I'm like, can you guys just please shut the hell up? My God, you guys are so loud. So, yeah, give me the whisper. I don't and I listen to my TV on a relatively low noise, so I make my ears listen. I don't want the TV yelling at me. Like when I walk in my parents' house and the TV's on like this and, and this happened on the news today and this happened and the sky is falling. Like, you want the TV to scream bad news at you? I'd rather just listen to it quietly. So, yeah, give me the whisper. Give me the and here comes Ethan with the next question.
So this is the final question here, actually.
Beautiful.
If somebody wrote a tell-all book about you, what is the most embarrassing chapter title?
Oh, boy. Tell-all book? Oh, boy. Probably Vegas trip 2024. And I can't elaborate that on that a whole lot. My friends that are listening to this will definitely know what I'm talking about, but it was a pretty epic trip. Went with 8 guys and then met up with my brother and Terp and Terp's boss Craig, and we flew from Vegas to Palm Springs. And at the end of that Vegas portion, I'm pretty sure I contracted COVID, and there's some things that go along with having COVID that aren't always great. And I'll have to leave it at that because this is supposed to be PG-13. It wasn't about gambling. It wasn't about chicks or drinking or any of that kind of thing. It was just COVID-related issues. But man, oh man, that would be – I actually think it would also be hysterical, and people would be laughing so hard reading the book. They'd be like, oh, my God, you got to read this chapter about Bob. Because it was when I told the story to friends at Railside or whatever. If anybody listen to this wants to hear the story and you know me, you can ask me, and I'll tell you the story exactly how it went down. But that would be the most embarrassing thing I would say that's happened.
We have a bonus question as
well.
well.
Lord, here we go.
Where do you see the future of Maple Hill golf in the next 50 years?
50 years? Boy, that's a tough question. I hope that one of the 4 kids, I have 2, my brother has 2, hope that one or more of the 4 kids love this like what my brother and I do and want to continue this on. If not, I hope that whoever buys us keeps it on because it's such a great business, and we love serving the community, and we love selling golf stuff and employing fine people like you two and all the folks we have that work here and that work hard for us. That's still my proudest thing. So 50 years from now, yeah, I'll be dead, so I won't have too many concerns about it. But my kids and my grandkids, I hope that they, figure it out and want to keep this thing going. It's a it's kind of its own monster now, and there's a lot involved. You know, we got 110 employees in the summer and 50 or 60 in the winter, so it's kind of a machine now, though. So hopefully they can keep it going. My youngest son shows some interest in it, and my older son shows some too. My older son's kind of got his career path chosen, at least for now, and we'll see if that ever changes, because Lord knows it might. But yeah, hopefully it's still family owned and running through the business. You know, hopefully it's on 4th or 5th generation by then and still going strong. Hopefully we're still a golf course. Hopefully we're still a driving range. Hopefully we got our warehouse built. We've got our putt golf and ice cream store that we'd like to built, and all that is going strong. And the community still loves us, and we still love the community. So we'll see. We're in Wyoming, Michigan. There's 3 golf courses in Wyoming, so I don't think they can build anymore. I don't think there's any more land. So hopefully there's still 3 golf courses in Wyoming, and we're still one of them. And yeah, that'd be wonderful. That would make my day, and my dad, my grandpa, and myself will all be in heaven, smiling down, looking down at what we've built and being proud of it. So, well, that was great, and thank you for answering the questions. Yeah, I appreciate you. Moving on to the maple spill, a couple different things. The Trick or Treat Halloween Parent-Child Scramble. So we did this, I think this is our 2nd or 3rd year doing this, but Wednesday, October 29th, starts at 4:30, so after school, obviously. $50 per 2-person parent-child team. And it can be guardian, it can be grandma and grandpa, who cares? Doesn't matter. Bring whomever. As long as one of the people is a kid and they're in school, great. Trick-or-treating event at the Granville Golf Course here on the property. Unforgettable experience. Plus, each team will receive a $20 and maple bucks to spend whatever you like. So this thing is super cheap. It's $50 and you get $20 gift card back. 9 holes. We are going to have a costume contest. That's actually been pretty fun in the past. So some of them do like the cop and Scottie Scheffler getting arrested. I think that was last year maybe. That was funny as hell. Costume contest. There's trick-or-treating on every single tee box. We've got candy for the kids and the adults. $20 gift card. And then the juniors get a free bucket a day card, which is valid through next year. So bucket a day cards, they get 1 free small basket of range balls every single day for the entire year for the 2026 season. So that's pretty cool. October 29th, Wednesday. Don't miss that. Get your kids involved. That'll be great. Next one, free launch kitchen TrackMan Fittings, valid through November 27th. So you got about 6 weeks on this one, maybe 7. Available on all club and putter fittings. Get 100% of your fitting fee back in a gift card. No expiration on the gift card. You spend $20 on a putter fitting or driver fitting. Your purchase receives $80 gift card. You do not have to use that towards the purchase of a product. If you get fit for a putter and you spend the $80 and you say, I'm going to keep my putter, you can buy golf balls with it. You can buy shoes with it. You can buy a bag, beer, whatever, anything Maple Hill sells, doesn't matter. Use your gift card towards that. It's valid towards any fitting, whether it's full set or single clubs, golf ball, doesn't matter. Whatever the fitting costs, you get that refunded in full in a gift card to use on whatever the world you want to use it on. Now through November 27th, which is Thursday. That must be Thanksgiving. So now through Thanksgiving. Yep. So that's pretty awesome. So that's the Maple Spill for you folks. And new episodes drop every other week. So be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts and hit that like button and share with your friends and all that. We're trying to grow this thing. And I appreciate you two for taking all these questions and putting them all on paper and asking me. That was a lot of fun. And I appreciate all you folks for asking. And we'll do this again at some point in time because it's a little more fun for me to interact with everybody, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you all very much for your time. Thanks for listening. And until next time, BK signing off. See you in a couple weeks.